Welcome back to my workshop and welcome back to my garage. This is video number 4 for my great guitar build-off entry this year of my Elysium Firehawk. What we're going to be covering in this video today is basically getting the body prepped up to this shape right here. Routing the rear access, routing the wire channel for the front, control holes getting drilled, and getting the tortoiseshell binding installed. I'm not going to drill the bridge pickup yet. I'm going to wait until I get the neck glued on. That way I can make sure that everything is aligned properly. I can get the measurements done to get the bridge location marked and drilled, and then after that, then I'll do the bridge pickup cavity. Initially, I didn't know how the tortoiseshell binding was going to look. I thought it was going to look pretty good, but I'm really happy with the way it turned out in contrast with that walnut. So this is going to be a naturally finished top, so that walnut's just going to show through in its pure form. And that tortoiseshell binding is going to go really good with that. So let's get rolling. All right, so what I'm going to do first, I'm going to position this here. And what I have is a 10mm brad point bit, put it in the holes, and then I'm going to mark my hole location, wrap with the hammer, put that brad point down, and give me a good pilot hole. So I can drill these holes. And what I'll do is I'll drill the hole down from the top. There we go. What I have now is I have my 4 hole locations marked. And then I can drill pilot holes into each of these. Okay, so now that I've got my holes routed through, what I want to do is I'm going to attach the template to the back with this installed. That way I can go ahead and route my control cavity and then pop that off, pop the centerpiece off, and then route the ledge. Let's go ahead and get super masking tape and super glue and get this template glued down, and we'll go from there. What I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and put that in there. I'm going to drill a few holes on the drill press before I get ready to route it. That way I can route this and then pop this out and have room to route my ledge. All right, I've got my depth stop set on the drill, so I won't go too deep. And it's time to just go in here and kind of route out some of this, hog out some of this material with the drill. I just want to say what a great time I've been having on this great guitar build-off guitar this year. This is my first scratch build entry for it. I have done a few scratch build guitars in the past, but this one's coming out really good. If you like what I'm doing, just do a search for Great Guitar Build-Off 2022, and a lot of videos are going to pop up. There's a lot of great builders out there, a lot of people doing some very interesting stuff. So please, take the time and go check them out as well. There we go, that's the hole for my switch. And now I can actually have the starting point for my routing channel for the wire routing. All right, it's time to start routing the wire channel here. what I've got is got my router with the collar set up on it, and I've got my cutting bit. I'm just going to start taking shallow passes through there until I get to the depth I want. So the body's coming along pretty nice. Got most of the routes done, as you can see. And I'm getting ready now to route the binding channel. What I'm using is, I've got the StewMac router bit binding kit, which comes with an assortment of bearings. Basically what I've done is I've ran a couple scrap pieces through my routing table with the bearing and the bit on it to make sure I'm at the proper thickness and the proper depth. So now I'm getting ready to route the binding channel in the body. All right, so nice, perfectly cut binding channel all the way around the body. No tear out on the wood whatsoever, so that's good. And now I can start to do the binding on it. So I'm just going to apologize right up front. For some reason, my camera didn't focus when I was routing the binding channel into the body. I did include a short clip of that just so you can see. And again, my apologies for that, but it was just pretty straightforward. Route it through all the way around the body to get that channel cut. Okay, it's time to start gluing the binding on. I've went ahead and trimmed the edges where it's going to join because this piece wasn't long enough to fit all the way around the guitar. It was about 3 inches short, so I'm actually going to have to use 2 pieces. What I'm using to do this with is the Bind-All binding glue from StewMac. So we're just going to go around, and I've got the I got tape to be holding this in place. So we're just going to start going around and doing this. And try not to make a mess while doing it. All right, it's been 24 hours since I glued this all up, so I'm going to go ahead and pull the tape off. I've already pulled it off in a couple spots to take a look at it, but let's go ahead and get the tape off of this and see how the binding came out. I actually used the binding tape that StewMac sells, and it is quite sticky. So I've got all the tape pulled off. Took a look at it. It is kind of messy, a lot of glue mess on it, but that's going to come off pretty easy with the scraper. But I went around it and looked. I don't have any voids. It looks like the binding is nice and flat against the bottom of the channel and around the perimeter of the guitar. So now it's just going to be a matter of cleaning all this up, getting a scraper to it, and doing that. And I'll just be using my StewMac scraper. It'll make pretty quick work of it. And we'll be ready to move on to the next step. I'm not going to bore you with a bunch of scraping. So once it's done, I'll bring it back up and let you see what it looks like after I finish scraping the guitar. So what did I learn doing the binding on this? I did have a lot of scraping to do because I cut the channel to the exact thickness of what the binding was. So it did swell a little bit. I knew I was going to have a little bit of scraping on top just to make it level with the top, but it did have to scrape quite a bit on the sides as well. Also with the glue is extremely messy, had a lot of scraping to do with that. I still have a couple spots on the body here that I'll need to sand out when I get ready to final sand. to get those glue marks gone. But overall, the binding turned out absolutely fantastic. Really love the way it looks. And I have decided that I will be binding the neck, and I think that's going to be in the next video. Okay, real quick, I just wanted to show you the binding router set that I got from StewMac. Basically what you get a router bit that can accept a bearing on top, and then you get 9 different bearings. And these bearings match the common sizes of all the binding that StewMac sells. This instruction sheet shows a list of different binding depths and which bearings to use to cut each depth. So that way you get a perfect cut. It also talks about if you're using wood binding or if you're using plastic binding that could swell depending on the glue that you're using, to actually allow for an additional 1/1000th of an inch depth to allow for the swelling of the wood and the swelling of the binding. But it's a pretty nice kit. It lets you route your binding without any problems whatsoever. As you saw in the video, it took literally 2 minutes to route the body for the binding. So I hope you all enjoyed that video. If you did, please click like and subscribe. Leave a comment below if you'd like to see something different. This is turning out to be a really great build. I really appreciate everybody stopping by to the channel to take a look at it. Until next time, take care.